Welcome to
to
Shade
Shade
in the
in
City.
the City.
I'm your girl, Treese.
It's Nels.
And today we are jumping into our review of The Love and the Marriage that is in the city of Huntsville. Season 7, episode 6, Where There's Smoke. Okay. Now, Shade Squad, this is an interesting one. I actually got deep into the details because, usually that's Nels's job. But I was like, no, I'm going to go word for word to protect some stuff.
You was diving deep today, huh?
I was, diving deep.
Diving.
But yeah, because Kiki gets activated this episode. Y'all drop down in the comments, let me know if y'all think she was right, wrong, unhinged. Y'all let me know. But let's get into it. Let's talk
I don't care what she was, it was entertaining.
Let's get into it. Let's get shady. All right. So as we know, we see Kiki. She's sitting with Mel at in Mid City, and spilling tea about Marceau's alleged piping hot about Marceau's alleged affair. Now the
one of the many.
Oh Lord. So the ex-boyfriend, this is how I understood it. The ex-boyfriend of the young lady who he supposedly cheated with.
I guess I was involved in the threesome.
Broke up with her because he learned about the affair with Marceau. Now, Kiki feels like Tisha. Now, I will say this. I did hear about the situation over the summer. I do know a little bit of detail of what's out there. I will just say that supposedly the person does work closely. I'm going to refer to them as Tisha's person, Kiki's person. But Kiki's person, I don't know who that is. I honestly be honest about that. Now, the person they're referring to that supposedly did the thing with Marceau is somebody, now granted, because they beat names out, if Carlos don't want a lawsuit, I damn sure don't either. So I'm just going to say that allegedly it is somebody that works for her. So yeah, I guess that's why Kiki was like, why do you have this person so close to you working for you, but you're upset with me because I'm coming to tell you, like, it didn't make sense. But anyway.
And because, no, also, she said something about Tisha wanted her to fire somebody. I think
Tisha wanted her to fire. So I get what you're saying. The way that I understood it is, I don't know who the guy is. I thought the guy was random. But she said that he had come into her DMs and told
Tisha's DMs. Well, both of them. I think
right. That's what I'm saying. Which makes me think they didn't know each other. I think what he was saying was the girl that works for Kiki was his ex-girlfriend. And he broke up with her because he found out about the alleged affair. That's how I understood.
So who the hell was Kiki supposed to fire that Tisha's mad that she didn't fire?
The ex-girlfriend. That's how I understood it.
No, I thought the ex-girlfriend works for Tisha. Her.
No, I thought the ex-girlfriend, because remember it was a threesome. So
you're saying the two girls.
Yeah.
So one girl is on Kiki's side, one girl is on Tisha's side.
Right.
Gotcha.
And that's why Kiki was like,
and then there's this guy in the middle.
And then you have the jilted ex-boyfriend. So that's why I was like, I don't know where he came from, but I guess he came into the picture because he dropped the information of T to Kiki. Yeah, no. And so basically she's like, Tisha's mad at me because I won't fire my person, but she won't fire her person who's right up under her nose. So basically Mel tells her, girl, sometimes people just don't want to know. And she's like, but do you think that she heard this before? And she's like, oh no, I think she did. And she feels like Tisha believes she's being disloyal to her for not coming to her sooner. But it is what it is. And so she did explain that she tried to call her and tell her about the news that she heard, And when she called her and I guess invited her over, Tisha stood her up. So she was like, that's on you. I tried to give you the information. That's when what we were talking about earlier, jilted ex-boyfriend then jumps into Tisha's DMs. This is why I had to dive deep, y'all, because it's like jumped into Tisha's DMs and told her what he had shared with Kiki, which now and then Tisha questions Kiki. Oh, like basically she has something to do with it. And so she was like, and why didn't you tell me? And she was like, I tried to tell you, you didn't show it. She was like, well, you could have called me. And so, she's basically like, I don't want my cousin out here looking stupid. And Ashley actually wishes that they could team up against, Marco together. And Mel advises her to talk to Tisha. And it's unclear why Tisha is mad with Kiki and not at the girl that's continuously being said to have the alleged affair with her husband. So Kiki then says that, for years she's been listening, Tisha has been listening to her gaslighting husband versus listening to her family. And Mel asks if she thinks the rumors are actually true. And Kiki says that she doesn't believe the whole, menage story. And she isn't even really sure about this whole relationship with Tisha's person. But Mel points out Tisha is the one that said there's smoke where there's smoke, there's fire, in reference or pertaining to her marriage. And she said, from my point of view, boo, I see smoke and flames. Okay. It's going down.
My thing is, how is it that he's the only one always in the blogs, always on social media? There's always some story about him cheating and you don't believe none of them? You don't think he's doing nothing? You don't think there's some truth to any of it?
No, because everybody just wants to hate on him. So then
no, just her.
So then Kiki jumps into the Macy and Mila drama that happened. I also heard about this over the summer.
I remember you talked about it.
Yes. So basically, as we know, brief backstory. Tisha was starting this line for the girls, as we know. She went, copied and pasted, or whoever did her website went and copied and pasted Stormy's shipping policies and return policies and all that stuff from her website, and then put it onto hers. And people caught it because obviously it still said Stormy's email address and stuff. So either you thought they were working together, or it wasn't hard.
Or it was plagiarism.
And so basically, Kiki calls that out. And Mel says that, based on attention in the room from the town hall, but I love how Mel says expo. So clearly she's tired of us saying spo. Okay. Now, she doesn't believe Stormy or what's the name? Tisha are doing anything together. And so, basically Kiki says whoever's doing this is doing a terrible job. And Mel says in confessional that Tisha actually has been called copy and paste before. She said there's a lot of similarities to things other people in the group have done that Tisha piggybacks off of. And then they roll the shady throwback footage. And Mel says everybody needs to handle their scandal as Huntsville turns. I loved it. So happy I don't have to do this scene because I was disgusted.
So Maurice wants to go pick up a Jeep that he bought for Kimmi. Apparently he's been trying to get her or sell her on a Maybach or a Lamborghini. But when he realized, their time could be cut short anytime, or you don't have that much time, he decided he just wanted her to be happy and got her what she wanted. So Marcel shows up. He's impressed by this Jeep. He was like, this Jeep is Jeeping. Okay, my Jeep don't do all what Kimmi's Jeep do. And says that he don't think Maurice even understands the power that this Jeep has. It basically you was sleeping on the Jeep. Okay, Kimmi knew what the hell she was talking about. So Maurice explains that really Kimmi wanted it, and she wanted something where she could have her hair blow in the wind, and then makes a joke that she doesn't have much right now. Even Marceau told him not to say it. He tried to stop. He don't say it. Don't say it.
I don't think. Hear me out. it makes me more upset with her that it's tolerated, because I can only imagine how that feels.
Let me tell you something. Kimmi going through enough right now. She is not trying
But
to.
can you imagine like sitting on your couch watching these episodes back and knowing that that's what your husband says about, like,
I feel like before Kimmi got sick, she definitely would have addressed a lot of this stuff. But I think where she is right now and everything she's going through, especially before when she was in pain and getting sick and stuff like that, she's picking and choosing her battles. She's like,
okay.
listen, I'm not about to argue. I'm just not gonna do it. If I don't want to have sex with you, I ain't gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? If I feel up to it, then I'm gonna do it. But I'm not about to sit here and argue with you and waste my breath, my energy, and go back and forth when I'm not feeling in the best. You know what I'm saying? And really, my days could be numbered. So I think she's just, because back in the day, Kimmi would. She
But
would she
isn't
would
she over that hump at this point? But I get it.
I
You
don't
know
know.
what?
I don't know. I
I
don't
get
know. I don't
not
know.
wanting to. I thought she was fully like in remission, but I get not wanting, going through that experience. It makes you appreciate life more. I can understand
Mm-hmm,
being able to shrug off bullshit,
mm-hmm,
but
mm-hmm. Because I definitely see her biting her tongue a lot more now that
yeah.
than
But
when
see,
she.
I guess for me, I guess why I bother. I can understand you shrugging things off. That comment not only bothered me, but it hurt me, and I wasn't the one that went through it.
Well, she wasn't there to see it. Now I
Right.
don't know how she feels. I
But
don't.
imagine when you watch that back, knowing that
Mm-hmm.
he said that. Like, can you imagine watching somebody say that to me on TV? I'm imagining my phone would be lighting up and you being like, girl, really? Really?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And this is
Yeah.
after all the other insensitive that we've known that he's went on camera and said and stood 10 toes down
Mm-hmm.
in it. I don't know. I don't know.
Nine times out of ten, it's gonna come up in the reunion. So, even after that, then he changes the subject to tell him how their sex life hasn't been the same. And Marcel was like, "What the hell are you telling me for? We ain't talked about our sex life since we was 12 when we was lying about it." So then, basically he told him that he tells him twice a month is good. That's normal for a married couple. Welcome to the
He said
party.
twice every month.
Right.
Every month.
I think he was joking. But so Maurice tells him that Kimmi thinks that it's chemo and he thinks it's mental. Marcel tells him to take off his back brace. Okay, because he
And
ain't
I'm gonna
really
tell
in
you that's
pain.
mental. Right.
Yeah, and that's all in your mind. I love that he used that because that's something he's going through right now. I love that. I love that scene. And basically Maurice, he said he appreciates his perspective and feedback because really, the only way basically you'll only have your own perspective unless you talk about it with somebody else and get somebody else's opinion. So then, he invites him to the cookout to celebrate Kimmi and says he's going to give her the truck. And basically that everyone is invited, especially after how things went at the
Town hall.
business expo meeting. Marcel said, he thought it was great. He said he got a lot of great feedback. And as far as Courtney and Stormy, they just might not be his groove. Okay. He said he's not mad. He doesn't dislike them, but he's going to treat them as if he did last year, like they didn't exist. Well,
I'm not mad.
well,
Sometimes you gotta protect your peace and love people from a distance. I ain't got to dislike you.
people are trying to protect their peace from Marceau.
Well,
The
yeah.
nerve of him trying to.
Look, that makes
He's
me
the,
even. You did them a favor.
he's the one disrupting the peace.
He
He's the
did.
one shaking the tables.
See Stormy and Courtney at their palace, because that's what it is over there. And they're talking about her sepsis scare that she had. Apparently, I don't know. What did she have?
She had strep, and
Oh,
then it
okay, she
turned
had
into
strep.
toxic shock. Why can't I?
Toxic
Toxic
shock.
shock syndrome. And basically they had her on sepsis alert.
Oh wow. So
Yeah.
Courtney tells her she needs to slow down, and of course, Stormy's already always ready
Ready
to
to get
get
back to work.
back. So she shares that Kiki was the first person to reach out to her after being sick. Courtney reminds her that, well, you kind of played her and called her Darkwing Duck. And so I laugh because my note said they have a Kiki about Kiki, but agree that, she's a good person. She then brings up the story about Tisha copy and pasting her shipping policy. She brings up how Marceau didn't want to take no business advice from her, but his wife is copying and pasting from her website. And I said, well, here comes Stormy with her bullet points. I'm just saying, I ain't mad at it. Stormy talks about how she did everything on her own. And if Tisha had have done the same, she would have been able to make the correction to her site more quickly. Stormy does plan on having a conversation with Tisha, not to, bark at her, but actually, I guess, try to like advise her in a way, like in a friendly way.
Because she said it isn't, she said she's not mad at her or anything. She said she ain't the first one who did it.
Right. And so then Stormy goes into the barbecue and tells Courtney, they're doing something. I like it when it's celebrations. It should be cool. I definitely think she was trying to soften him up. I think she already knew he wasn't going for it. And so basically Courtney confirms that he ain't going for it. He will not be a part of any of that bullshit, especially if it includes Marceau. And she's like, well, that's messed up. And he's like, I know, he messes it up for everybody.
She was like, what if they attack me? He was like, what didn't you call me? I'll pull up.
Right. And so I was like, I love it. And so he talks about the town hall and how Marceau said a lot of slick-ish. And he was happy that he was able to keep his composure, but he doesn't want to be put himself in a situation that gets real. And then Kiki still has no charges filed against her, y'all. Just thought I'd add that on.
No, they said it again. I'm like, are you gonna let us win?
We're gonna declare he's innocent.
I just want to know, are they gonna let it, since they keep on saying that they ain't none charged against her, are you gonna let us know when they are? You gonna update us for that too?
It's still in litigation. They can't talk.
Oh, I'm sorry, if it is. So Marceau and Tisha met up to work on their Scope Realty project.
Then
I
thought she was just working on her new well, I guess it is Scope because they're building a barbershop, but I thought it was mainly her office she was worried about.
Oh, because they kicked her out the other one.
Yeah. And they're building it, what she said, a barbershop on one side and something else, and then they're building her office in the middle. I said, damn, you can't have nothing.
What happens when you get gaslit? Then they start discussing the cookout. He says that he doesn't have an issue with anybody, and he told Maurice, invite anybody you want to. I'm good with everybody. Now, apparently, he's also considering not doing the Bet on Black event because someone called the city and said that they were illegally gambling, and he said he doesn't want to have any association with that. What about that lawsuit, though?
Okay. That's why he said, I got enough stuff going on.
I guess so. Tisha is also frustrated after the web designer used the same template as Stormy, and left Stormy's web address on there. She said that
I don't like how they was trying to do that.
Like it was a template, and
like, oh well, Stormy used to, or you did the same thing that Stormy. No. Stormy made it clear that she did this on her own. So I guess drop down in the comments, Shade Squad. Let us know what you,
or maybe the web designer copied and pasted.
I just think, I'm sorry, and I'm not trying to. I'm really not trying to be biased here. I really just think the web designer copy and pasted, and it's somebody that you paid, and it is what it is. But because you can't tell me with her degrees and all that she wouldn't have caught that. And I feel like, as I always tell you, why won't I let other people edit our videos? Because other people are not going to care what goes up. That's a perfect example.
But yeah, so they left the web address on there. Tisha said she's been getting all types of emails and phone calls, and she's just tired. Tisha says she doesn't understand why she always receives so much hate. She doesn't do anybody wrong. She's such a good person. And she says she's strong, but she does get tired of people trying to interfere in her marriage, her business, and the person she is as a whole. It's a lot to deal with. And Marcel basically tells her that, she came through in a clutch when he needed her. So he's just trying to be there for her.
He tells her keep her head up like Tupac. He said, "Ooh, child, things are gonna get easier."
You're an idiot.
So now Kimmi and Maurice are setting up for their barbecue. They're hopeful everything will be peaceful and get things back on track after all the expo talk. Now Courtney drops Stormy off at Kimmi and Maurice's and literally drops her off like he was not
Like in the driveway. He ain't say
right.
hi, no nothing. He like, all right, boo, I'll see you later.
And so once she arrives, they're like, "Where Courtney at?" And she's like, "Oh, he just dropped me off." And she lets them know that Courtney isn't coming because he's avoiding any possible conflict or confrontation with Marceau, but does want to play. So Kimmy's like, "Oh, hell no, you can't not come, show up, and then get to play." That absolutely you can, Kimmi. Come on. Now Maurice says that, Marceau said he doesn't have any issue.
I mean, if you sick or something, but you literally made it over here and then left.
I love how Stormy shut Maurice down and basically said that she's not having any conversations about her husband while he's not present. And I said, "You better." And then Mel shows up on whatever everybody else is on. Love the shirt. I hope it's available because you might see your girl with one. It was very cute. So Nell and Chris arrive, and it looks like they're about to play some spades. Everybody's having a good time. Mel is actually gambling. And tells Tisha when she arrives that she's recreating her casino night. And then Tisha lets us know that, they had to postpone the event. Martell comes up to say hello, and Mel completely ignores him. And
he even tapped her on the shoulder.
Right. And she was like straight ignoring him. They bring up an
I'm in my game, homie.
Right. And you can even tell she was annoyed because somebody I feel like it was Maurice. They had brought up an old spades battle that they had, and Mel almost drugged at Martell because he was playing piss poor. And if anybody knows anything about spades, it gets real. It goes down. Okay. So
she was cleaning people's pockets out.
Right. But I think she was playing blackjack or something. I don't think she was playing spades.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't think they were playing. Yeah, I don't think they were. That's what she was doing, like with the money. I don't think that was spades. So Mel realizes that Mel didn't say anything to Martell, but says there was a point in time when her and Chris were separated that she didn't want to talk to his ass either. And I said, you know what? I think this is another reason why I can really appreciate and shout out to, I believe it was Tracy that dropped out in her comments because she was like, I don't know how I feel about Nell and Chris. But I like them because I feel like they're coming, giving us all their.
They're transparent.
Right. So we don't have to dig it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I can appreciate that when you come with the it, because again, you can't dig it up. It's versus.
And then the thing is, when you see these couples that have been married for so long, you're like, like maybe they went through some stuff, but it's like, oh, that's who I aspire to be. And you think they're the perfect couple. And she's like, no, we went through our stuff.
Right. And I think it's even better when you see them come through on the other side. And that's why I think it is dope that they're so transparent. So then Kiki and Amin arrive, and Stormy notices that Tisha's whole vibe has changed. Tisha reassures her that, she's good with everybody. Okay. So Tisha is confused as to why Kiki keeps talking about her marriage. Huh?
She was a lie.
She's confused as to why Kiki keeps talking about her marriage after their conversation in the kickboxing gym when she swore she wouldn't. And they roll back the shady footage,
but she was talking about it to her.
Well, then you went and told Mel, which kind of what you did, like at the pajama party.
But really, but the thing is, Tisha didn't know that at that point. You're referring to her coming to you talking about it.
I guess. Or she could have felt like, again, that Kiki lied and maybe she gave the boy the information or tried to start something. You know what I mean? Tisha just, I mean, I hate to say this because they are family. And I guess at one point they were close, but it seems like they haven't been for a good time. For a long time. And I think Kiki would be better off. But I guess you can because you still got to see. Again, loving from a distance. I don't think y'all have to be all up in each other's face. I think you can still attend family functions and wave from the other side of the room and keep it moving. But I guess not, because you might, here we go. You might get a drink thrown. Who knows? Anyone knows? So Kiki makes her rounds, saying hello to everyone. Kiki's husband, Amin, actually comes over to greet Tisha, and she gives him a hug. And I
She
think,
stood up, gave him a hug.
and I think the reason that was so noticeable is because by the time Kiki was literally right behind him, by the time Kiki got over to, like, I guess she was gonna try to give her a hug or, you know, say hello to her, she dipped out, ducked under, and got
Under her, basically.
right. And so Kiki's like, oh, this, she's being stupid. And I was like, well,
Kiki decided, I guess, since she was in her feelings, she was just gonna go ahead and spill the tea at the table to Stormy,
who wasn't
literally
even
right
really
across.
interested in hearing it. She was just like, what is going on?
All she wanted to know was if Kiki was okay, because she could tell on her face she was, you know, was all screwed up. So Kiki decides to sit down. Yes, you can. So she decides to sit down, tell Stormy all the tea, literally while Marcel and Tisha are sitting right across from her.
And
so
still ignoring the dog out of her.
Tisha is trying her best to ignore her, talking about the deck of cards and, you know, trying to play her spades with Stormy while Kiki, you know, has her listening to all this tea. Then Kiki snatched the cards out Stormy's hand and threw them at Tisha.
That is a fight. That is a fight.
She threw the cards at Tisha and Marcel, but they wasn't playing for money. So, I mean, I don't know if that makes a difference. It don't matter.
Spades is
very... It don't matter. It don't matter.
You better not. That would have been a physical altercation in Black households. I'm just saying.
Look, Stormy, like, listen. She said, you know what? I think y'all need to have a conversation. Okay. Kiki said, no, she need to have a conversation with him. Okay. Tisha, you know, I felt like she was doing a good job of ignoring her until Kiki threw the drink in the girl face. I mean, the whole cup. It looked like she just.
Well, the whole thing was, I still think Tisha did a good job because she was just like, why would you do that? Like, you could tell she was processing it. Because I think if it was me, I would have just reacted. It wouldn't have been, I would have processed after the fact, after me whooping your ass. But
I think. Okay, this is just my thought.
What's the thought?
You know they cousins. You know they've been in it.
That's true.
They ain't always been good. I think Tisha had to take a step back and process for a reason.
Oh, that's true.
Okay.
I can understand that, but sometimes when you feel so disrespected, you might have to go into an ass knowing you're gonna get your ass whooped. But
some people.
But it's better. But it's better than being disrespected.
Listen. Tisha is an educated Black woman. Okay? She ain't. She. You know, she's from the other side of the tracks, but clearly she ain't as ratchet as some of her other family. So I think that what she did was she sat back, processed. She said, I don't want to get dog walked in front of all my friends and my husband. He already out here with other women. Now he really ain't gonna have no respect for me if he see me get my ass whooped. Okay. So I'm just gonna calmly ask, why did you do that?
You stupid.
While Kiki over there ready to rip that girl to shreds. Okay.
And
now Marcel had more. Listen, Marcel had more heart. Marcel had more heart than Tisha.
He did.
He definitely had more, but you know, he come for the ladies, so it don't.
I was gonna say that's why he's the mouthpiece.
So you know, so then they went. I'm sorry. Did you say what you wanted to say?
Oh no, I was gonna say, Shade Squad. I'd like y'all to drop down in the comments and weigh in, because as I told Nels, I don't necessarily know if you ignoring somebody warrants a drink being thrown into your face. Now there are other people that differ. I just don't think that. I don't know. I get it. Maybe, as Nels explained, clearly Kiki was on something maybe when she came in. Or
not on something.
Let me change that. I don't want to say on something. I mean, like on one.
I think she was like a 7.5, 8 already, because she was already feeling some type of way from the conversation she was explaining with Mel. But I think with the way basically Tisha shaded her at the cookout, that got her to a 10. that got her to a 10. And then you know how you might be mad about something, and as you talking about it, it makes you even more mad. I think that's what happened also. She's talking about it. She's raising her voice. She's getting all hype. And then she threw a drink in
And
the
see,
girl's
I
face.
guess me at my big age, I would be like, okay, she's ignoring me. I don't have to sit here and continue to talk about this and make myself upset. And let's move. You know what I'm saying? Like, I mean,
But
I
the
get
thing
it,
is,
it's TV, but just the adulting of it all. I would have just moved on and not talked about it. And me and Stormy would have, or I would have took and gave Stormy all the tea and took, you know what I mean? But I'm not.
but that's why I think it has a lot to do with the reason why Tisha's not talking to her, because I think Kiki feels like she was done wrong, because I'm trying to come to you as a cousin and tell you what came to me, and now you don't believe me. You think this person didn't even tell you this, but you think that in somehow, some way, I'm in cahoots with this dude to come to you and make up some BS about your husband or whatever Tisha thinks it is. But I was trying to come to you as a cousin. We were trying to grow and come together or whatever. And I was trying to do you a favor, come to you as a cousin. And now you flipping on me. So I think
Hear
she
what you're
also feels
saying, but
like,
Kiki does. I feel like Kiki does a lot of this, but I meant well. I meant well. Like in a lot of her
um,
things that she does, she
I
always
think that
means well.
a lot of the things that Kiki has come forward with, um, there's been some truth to. So I think that, um, to Mel's point, Tisha just don't want to know. And Kiki is getting aggravated because her cousin's out here looking stupid, and she don't understand why there's so much hate and why people can't stand her ass. And it's because you're stupid and you look stupid, and you're gonna stick beside them no matter what. And people don't want to see a strong black woman looking stupid by the hands of your own husband on national TV, especially your cousin that's right next to you. And now you blaming her for all of this. But I tried to stop you from looking stupid.
Well, I mean, and again, I'm gonna play devil's advocate in this one, or maybe just the devil. But at the end of the day, if Tisha decides to stick beside him, they, whatever's going on in their marriage and whatever. But I do think that, like you said, because we're on national TV, it just makes it that, and I'm sure it has a lot to do with how much smoke she had for Mel and Martell's marriage and him cheating, and now that it might be in her backyard or shit, sitting in her living room. She don't, she wants
I
to.
feel like it was in her backyard before it was in Mela and Martell's backyard. I feel like that. I feel like it's been. I feel like. Listen, I believe Martell. Listen, I wasn't even into that. I got into it because he brought me around it. He said, "Just come," and then he invited us.
Mm. Well,
So yeah, basically, they went over to Kimmi, told her what happened, and said basically that Kiki needs to go. Kiki like, yeah, okay, I did it, and so Marceau said, call the police and get this girl drug tested. Then all hell broke loose.
because
Okay,
Amina ain't having it.
Amin was ready to fight Marceau. And listen, it was taking a whole bunch of people to hold Amin back. Then finally Marceau got quiet, because when it comes to the ladies, he got all the smoke.
And he out here trying to act like he not worried about Courtney. Okay. Okay, boy. But yeah, y'all, it was yeah, I can't lie, it was a good episode. Good job. Good job.
Yes,
But yes,
and it continues. It continues.
of course, to be continued. But yeah, thank you so much for joining us for this review slash recap.
Yes,
If
thank you.
have not already, please, please, please make sure that you hit that like button.
You comment
You subscribe.
and you hit the notification bell.
And make sure you're following us on all the platforms, the TikTok, the Twitter, the Facebook, and IG. And yeah, we will catch you next week for another review of The Love, the Marriage in the greatest city in America to live in Huntsville. Good night.